I'm Jessica. Welcome to my channel. In today's video, we are going to be making the Beachcomber Pouch from Needle and Anchor. This little pouch is a scrap buster. You don't need a lot of material. This is another one of those pouches that you could use for anything. It's a great little pouch. I chose to do version 2. There are several options in this pattern, so make sure when you do grab your pattern, you read through it to determine which one you want to try. I want to make a jelly one so bad, and I'm going to make a jelly one. You guys know I'm here for the jelly, but I really wanted to make this one. So this vinyl is from Lauren Mormino. It's beautiful. If you can get it, get some. Get some for yourself. It's so beautiful anyways. Okay, back to the pouch. So I chose to do version 2. This has the normal zipper installation. It's got a little zipper tab, and then it's got cornered, the cornered bottoms. Whoops. So it's pretty small. It's not your large pouch, which I think this is perfect, again, for anything traveling, anything, you know, all the pouches that you make, you can do whatever you want with them, which is awesome. Right now, you can go on Needle and Anchor and grab this pattern for $5 until June the 5th. And then all her other patterns, I believe, are 20% off right now. There is a code for that, I believe, which you'll have to check her website. But for this pouch, you don't need a code to get it for $5. And again, that will be until June the 5th. So go ahead and grab your pattern. And if you've missed anyone in the marathon today, you can always go back and watch all of them. They will all be there. They're also linked in my description box below, along with the pattern. You can grab it below as well. Well, again, this is really fun. You're gonna enjoy it. Go ahead and grab your pattern, your materials, and let's go ahead and get started. All right, guys, bye. Since I'm doing version number 2 of the Beachcomber Pouch, the corners are going to be boxed. There is the original version, which has the gusset if you'd like to do that. There are many others on this marathon who are showing you how to do that. But in this one, I'm going to show you version 2 with the boxed corners. You'll need your right and left side contrast, zipper tabs, your top band, your alternative recessed zipper panel, the alternative exterior center, the back, and then your alternative lining. You'll need your zipper and your zipper pull. You'll want to check on the pattern for the length that you need for version number 2. For all the items you'll need to make this pouch, you're going to need some double-sided tape. You'll need some scissors. You are going to need a ruler. You're going to need lots of hair clips or hair clips or these kind of clips, whatever you want to use. And then you'll need a lighter for your threads. You'll need some snips for your threads. I will be using a bag tag on mine. I get these from the Heartwood and Hide. They're amazing. I highly recommend. And I'll also be using this template to help me put this on my pouch. Maybe this time I'll get it on straight, but probably not, and that's fine. And then I think I always need a seam ripper because I make a lot of mistakes. So this is a seam ripper and a stiletto, which I don't use the stiletto because I stab myself. So I use my screwdriver instead. And I think I need a marking tool, something for vinyl. So I've got my vinyl marking tool, and then I have an air erasing marker just in case. And then I'm using my fairy floss thread from Wizardry Stitchery. It's a Tex 45 weight, and I think that might be it. If I miss anything, I'm sure I'll mention it in the video. Let's go ahead and start off with the front panel. You'll need your alternative exterior center. You'll need your right side contrast and your left side contrast. Set these aside. If you use them, I love using them for organization. It's amazing when they are put in patterns. I love them. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our sides. They'll be like this. You're gonna take it and place it right side down. Match up your edges. And then you'll clip into place. I'm gonna go ahead and do the other side. So you'll take this and right sides together. Line up your edges. Clip into place. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna sew this together using a 3/8 inch seam allowance. So these edges here, we're sewing in a 3/8 inch seam allowance. Okay, now what we're gonna do is we're going to flip these up just like this. We want the seam to be behind your contrast. Just like that. I'm gonna go ahead and clip this down. All right, same thing on the other side. You'll want to flip it back. Seam on the back side of your contrast. Okay, and I'm gonna clip it in place, and we're going to top stitch this at an 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. Okay, so this is what the panel should look like so far. This is vinyl from Wondergrab Fabrics. It is the soft stonewash vinyl, or maybe it's stonewash soft vinyl or something like that, but it really is super, super soft. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and grab our, I think it is the top band. Yes, your top band. And then we are going to place this right sides together right on top. So line up your edges and go ahead and clip it together. And then now we're going to sew this at 3/8 inch seam allowance. Okay, so now we're going to take this top band and flip it up. And I believe we want the seam to be behind your top band so that we don't want all this bulk down here. So we'll flip this up, and then we're going to top stitch this at 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. There's the front panel. That looks so pretty. Oh goodness. Go ahead and set this to the side. Next, you'll want to grab your zipper, your zipper tab, and then we'll be working on the alternative recessed zipper. So you'll need all 4 panels. I do my zipper tab at the end just a little bit different. This is cut at 1/4 wide, and then lengthwise I do it at 2 inches. And the way that I do it is I want to make sure that the zipper is opening or closing towards the left. Right, then you pull it to the right and it opens. You want this little triangular angle, I guess, I don't know, to go up towards the top. This is where we're going to take the zippers and sew it into the panels. But you want your zipper tab to be facing at the end where the end of your zipper is. I hope that's making sense. So I'm gonna take this zipper tab and place it right sides together, or right side, excuse me, facing the back side of the zipper. And then I'm gonna fold it about 1/2 inch. And then I'm going to take this top and fold that down. I already kind of pre-folded it. So, and this is so thin, so I can do this. You don't have to do this. You can do whatever is easier for you, but I like the way this looks. So I'm gonna fold this over by 1/2 inch, and I'm gonna fold this in half. All right. Make sure my zipper is on there straight. So then I've got this, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna sew like a rectangle right over this, and then I'm gonna put a rivet in this eventually. All right, so I'm gonna pull my threads to the back so it looks a little bit neater, and like I said, I'm gonna put a rivet right in the middle right there. So I do like the way that looks. All right, go ahead and bring these to the back. And I'm gonna grab my stiletto and pull these back. Okay, and then I'm going to tie them in knots and cut the threads and burn the tails. You know what I realized, you guys, is I'm doing version number 2. And I'm doing a regular zipper installation, which means I didn't need these. I don't know why I did these, but I cut them. And I will just use them on my next one because I'm going to be making another one. So I'm going to set these aside. Okay, so for version 2, there is zipper preparations in the pattern instructions. You'll want to determine which one you'll be doing based on the presser foot you're using. I'm using a narrow foot, which is, I guess, known as a skinny foot, but on this machine it's called a narrow foot. So I'll be using that one, and there's different measurements for depending on what foot you're using, so make sure you pay attention to that. So I've got my zipper here, I've got a ruler, and I've got a marking tool. This is an air erasing marker, which erases very quickly. So I'm gonna go ahead and make some marks. For this one, I'm gonna be making a little mark, whoops, for 5/8 of an inch. I'm gonna make a little tick mark on both sides. And what we're gonna do is we're going to bring this over right at that marked line. We're just gonna kind of pinch it down. I like to, I don't know if you can see that, but I like to kind of bring this and pull this forward, kind of like that. Everyone has their own way of doing this. I'll tell you that me and recess zippers, we got a love-hate relationship, so this is how I do them. I'm sure you may have a different method, or if you have a better way of doing this, please let me know in the comments below, because I always struggle with these for some reason. I never get them on straight. What's new? Okay, I'm just going to clip that together like that until I can baste that down. So I'm going to do the same thing on this side. I'm just kind of bringing this like so. I don't know if you saw that, but I want to make sure it's kind of straight. And of course, it looks like it may be, let's see, I'm going to clip it. And I'm going to see if this maybe needs to be adjusted. Oh, well, that doesn't look too bad. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a couple stitches just right here at this little fold. That way they don't show up later on. And if you do sew them here, it's okay. You can always take the stitches out. Okay, that doesn't look too bad. So when I sew this on, I'll probably clip this down a little bit more so that we've got a little bit straighter. So, but that's actually probably the best one I've ever done. So, hooray for me. All right, what's next? Next, you're going to need your front exterior panel right side up, and you'll need your zipper. You'll need a ruler and a marking tool. All right, so on the top left edge, we're going to measure 3/8 of an inch from the edge, and you're going to make a small little mark that's within your 1/4 inch seam allowance. And on the right side, you're going to measure 1/2 inch in, and make sure you've got your little tiny mark within your 1/4 inch seam allowance. This is an air erasing marker, so it's gonna be fine. Okay, so I've got my double-sided tape, and I'm going to place it on the edge of the zipper tape, only on the zipper tape, not on the zipper tab. I'm going to do this for both sides on the zipper. Okay. I'm going to peel off the paper. Okay. So my marks have already disappeared. That is how fast this thing works. So I'm going to go ahead and make my marks just real quick. So now you want to take your zipper and place it right side down along the marks that you previously made. So you want to have your zipper tab end meet this 1/2 inch, and you'll want to line up the edges. And then we're going to baste this down. You want to make sure that your zipper pull is on the left side. Okay, so grab a lining piece now. You're going to take your lining and you're going to lay it right side down. So go ahead and match this up and clip it together. Okay, we're going to sew this at a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Make sure to move your zipper out of the way. Okay. I like to wait to trim these down just so I can fix them if I need to. So I'll trim the other side once we have the panel and the lining together. So now what we'll do is we are going to bring this together. I think we're just top stitching only the panel. Okay, so yes, you'll have your seam here, and you'll want to flip this back on the seam and bring your lining over here, and you're going to top stitch over that seam in this panel. go, so this is what you should have right now. And now we're gonna go ahead and grab the other exterior and then your lining and bring that over. We're gonna do the same thing to this side as we did on this side. So I'm gonna go ahead and apply some double-sided tape along, oh, just kidding. I already have it on the zipper tape here. I'm going to make my marks over here. So now on this side, it'll be 1/2 inch, and then on this side, it'll be 3/8 of an inch. So the opposite is the other side. I'm gonna take this and put this right sides together. So now your zipper will be on the right side. And line up this tick mark with the edge of your zipper tab here. And then we will take the paper off and line this up on the edge. So now that we have our zipper tape down, we're gonna go ahead and baste this on. Okay, now we're gonna take our lining and we're going to place it right side down, right on top of this, what should look like this. We're gonna sandwich our zipper and then we'll clip the top edges. We're gonna sew the lining on at 1/4 inch. We're not basting that down, so you wanna make sure you've got your zipper out of the way. Now I'm gonna trim this little zipper off. I do end up burning the edges of the zipper just to help prevent fraying. Gently do that just to make sure nothing happens. Okay. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna flip this over, your back panel only, and we're gonna sew we're gonna top stitch this right over this seam here, not your lining, just this seam here. Okay, so this is what we should have. We've got the front panel and the back panel. I'll need to put my bag tag on here. You've got both your linings. When you open it on the inside, this is what it should look like. So your lining should not be sewn down. Okay. All right. This is looking great so far. I'm loving it. This vinyl is so pretty. If you're able to grab this, you should absolutely get some of that. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna open the zipper about halfway. We don't want to hit this while we're sewing this together. So what you're gonna do now is we're going to bring your exterior panels together and clip them. Now we have this together, we're going to clip our lining together. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna leave a 5-inch or 6-inch opening down at the bottom of the lining. We're going to leave the opening so we can pull the exterior through and complete the bag. So, I hope you can see that, but pushing this down, so you've got this side as your exterior and this is your lining. And when you're pushing this down to push your seams together, there we go. Your zipper should be on the lining side, okay? Now, also want to mention that your seam for the exterior panel is going to be down already, so just take your seam for the other side and just place it in the opposite direction. Clip it together. So when we're sewing the exterior, we're going to sew at a 1/4 inch seam allowance. We're going to increase it to 3/8 of an inch seam allowance into the lining. And remember, you want to have 5 to 6 inches open on the bottom of your lining so we can pull the back through. So all of the lining is sewn together, and so are the exterior panels. So what we're going to do now is we're going to box our corners. I'm going to start with the exterior. I like to widen it from the middle. That went together pretty nicely. Make sure you match up your seams. They want to naturally go to this direction, but I don't want that. So I'm going to have them go in the opposite direction like this. Make sure you do that for the other side. You want to make sure your seams are going in the same direction. Otherwise your bag will lay kind of funny. All right. I do like to clip down like this. And we're going to sew this at 3/8 of an inch, and we'll do that for all of our corners. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and sew the exterior at 3/8 of an inch on the corners, and then I'll work on the lining. I like to sew another row stitching right beside the first row stitching on my exterior panel, just to give the stitching a little bit more security. So now we're going to go ahead and work on the corners of your lining and do the same thing. You'll sew them at 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. So all my corners are all done. If you want to grab some scissors and trim down any seam allowance on your lining, if you'd like to, I am going to trim down just this little corner poking out of my exterior corner, like these little ears, I guess. And I'll trim down a little bit of the lining. What I'm going to do now is down here where the opening is, I'm just going to make these little snips like this, so that whenever I sew this closed, it will be a little bit easier. So now what we're going to do is we're going to turn out our bag. So go ahead and pull your exterior through this little hole and turn out your bag. Very carefully, of course. This is an adorable little pouch. Oh my goodness, how cute is that? This turned out really well too. That looks really good. I love it. So now I need to close up my lining, and then we will be all done. So I'll pull this out. I'm gonna poke out my corners here, and these should just kind of tuck right in on itself. All right, I'm gonna sew that closed at 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. And tuck the lining back inside. Make sure to poke it out these at your corners so that they fit nice and neat into these corners. That is beautiful. And I forgot my bag tag. That's all right. I'll be using this for something. So, how cute is that? Oh my goodness. I love these little accents here. They're adorable. I love all the colors. All right. I hope you guys have been enjoying the marathon. Check out K-Dill Handmade. I believe she is the next on the list. Yeah, so thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and we'll see you on the next one.